Okay, good. Great to see everybody out here. We're looking forward to our first ACC road opponent at North Carolina State, playing a well-coached football team. It'll be a great environment. We're just extremely excited to get on that airplane and go down there and play another football game. And with that, any questions?
Take your questions for Coach.
Go ahead, Mark.
Given your familiarity with the lot members and coaching staff, is there any kind of edge that gives either team?
Oh, I don't think there's an edge either way. You know, I've worked with a lot of these guys. You know, Matt Cannon, Mike Uramovich, Frisman Jackson, Clayton White, four of my good friends, and it'll be great. It'll be a backyard contest for us. You know, we'll talk about it. You know, after the season, I'm sure. It's kind of weird. You know, we used to text each other. 2-3 times a week during the season. Hey, how's it going? Good luck. And now we don't talk anymore. So it's kind of sad, to be honest with you. But great respect for those guys and looking forward to the matchup.
NC State has scored a touchdown only 8 of 17 times they've been in the red zone. Have you seen anything on film that indicate why that is?
Well, they have. They do a great job. You know, they've had a lot of injuries to a lot of their key football players, and I think a lot of those injuries has a lot to do with some of their struggles when you get down close. But Coach Cannon will have them ready. He's put some good plays on tape where they just hadn't made the play either. You know, there were a couple of drops in the end zones and going in. So there's a lot to do with it. But we got to prepare for a strong outfit that'll be ready to play against us.
Chris.
Scott, Bristol is a guy who a couple of weeks ago you said, hey, we've got to get the ball in this guy's hands more. Obviously he's young, but what's kind of keeping him from, grabbing that role?
You know, Chris, the offense is designed to really spread it around the field to the guys that are open. I know that seems so simple to, break it down to that degree, but it is the truth. I've been asked week in, week out, how do we get this guy the ball more? It's not really one of those deals where we're trying to plan to get one guy 7 touches in a game. Now, we are trying to be creative and try to get the ball in those kids' hands, but to some degree, it's kind of how the coverages play out and how the pressures play out with the teams we're playing. But I've been pleased with Bristol's progress. He's working hard, as all of them are, but he's going to be a good football player for us.
He didn't get into early in the Clemson game. Is that just a matchup thing?
A little bit of a matchup thing. Clemson did a great job, as you know, pressing and kind of smothering our wide receivers in coverage. And the direct result was also, making it a frustration situation for the quarterback and the passing game. So there are a lot of elements that came into it. I think you see from one extreme, play lights out, 11 guys getting catches, to this past week, no wideouts catching the ball. Hopefully we can get to some middle ground and get those guys some touches against a good NC State team.
Mark.
Coach, we all know what the Tobacco Road is like for basketball. You've been down there, Coach, football-wise. What can players expect atmosphere-wise?
Atmosphere-wise, I coached there in the late 90s, and it got extremely loud. I think NC State's always done a good job. I think their fan base does a great job. They'll be 50-plus regardless of how many wins or losses they have. Excuse me. So it'll be an environment that's fun to play in, and that's why our kids, signed up for this, and same as the coaches. So I look forward to it. It'll be a great ACC matchup. The weather's supposed to be good, and the environment will be intense.
Nathan.
You mentioned the wide receivers, and a lot of people have asked me about that group after last week. It doesn't sound like you're heading in this direction, but is there a chance we'll see more diverse groupings with some of the guys who haven't played as much this year, or will you stick with the main?
No, we're not changing. No.
David.
Scott, obviously if all the corners stay healthy, it doesn't become an issue, but do you have someone you view as like the 5th corner? If someone goes down, who'd be able to plug in?
Joe Nassib, and Joe hasn't played a lot of football for us, but I wouldn't lose sleep over Joe, and we'd be smart about what coverages we put him in.
Other questions?
Mark?
Given their rush defense, 17th in the nation, how much more pressure does that put on Charlotte?
I think it's a combination of the whole offense doing what we want to do, and that's changing things up, making sure that we're changing our tendencies up that we put on tape for 5 weeks, doing a good job, create matchup situations versus the looks that we know we're going to get, and everybody just doing their job. Up front, we've run the ball well, but this team stops the run well, so it'll be a heck of a challenge. And obviously, we're going to have to get the ball to the outside and down the field some to try to loosen them up. And that'll be crucial for our success.
Michael?
Scott, when I went back and watched the game again, Sean McDonough said something on the telecast I thought was interesting. He said you told him that 42 yards is the limit for Ryan Norton. Is that true, that 42 is?
Well, going
pretty
into
much it?
that game, that's where we felt like he was. It was more that I felt like I was comfortable calling it at that ground. Ryan kicked one yesterday in practice. It would have made it at about 65 yards. So he's getting better. But there's that comfortability factor where you also look at what he's done consistently from point A to B since he's taken over for Ross. And going into that thing, the question was where you felt comfortable, and I said 42 yards out, I'd be pleased.
Chris?
Sorry to make you Bristol a little bit.
That's okay.
Rob said, some of the struggles have been learning the playbook. Obviously, that sounds oversimplified. Is it learning plays, learning to read defenses, and what goes into a young player?
It's an all-encompassed approach. It's not like checkers. It's more like chess. A young guy comes in. You have a number of things that you have to deal with as you learn to play football with a high IQ. Alignment, assignment, adjustment to the defenses that are shown. And it sounds simple, but it's not. You try to simplify it as much as you can with a handful of plays, and you say once he can do one or two things, then you feed him a little bit more. And it's no different than any other position. We had that talk today. If you get in a situation and you have to play a young corner, maybe that hasn't played a lot of football, well, let's not ask him to run every defense that we have. Let's say when he's in the game, we're going to call these 3. Same thing on offense. Young man's in the game. Let's call these 2 or 3 things, and let's ask him before the game which ones he feels most comfortable with, and not ask him to do something he doesn't feel comfortable with. And that's part of the natural maturation process of a young student athlete. And Bristol's done a nice job with that. He works hard. He's a very diligent young man.
Mark, how do you expect Vermont to bounce back? His 2 starts have kind of been, really, really good, and he had a tough time against Clemson.
I think he'll bounce back well. I know he'll compete, and he'll fight hard to do all the things that Coach McDonald and Coach Lester are asking of him. He's a winner. He's a fighter, and he's overcome far more difficult situations than losing a football game. So I have all the confidence in the world in Terrell.
Nico?
Coach, how nice was it to see, in that Clemson game, guys like, Jerome Smith, Devontae, Prince, they all broke some really nice runs there and got that thing going pretty good.
It was great. The most important, or I should say, the biggest thing that I came away from with that game was first and foremost, the kids and I were extremely disappointed because we felt like we let the fans down. We asked the fans to come and support us, and they did. They were the 12th man, and we couldn't get it turned, and we couldn't provide the atmosphere that we wanted to where we get into the 4th quarter against the number 3 team in the country and have a shot to win that thing. We were extremely disappointed because we felt like we let the fans down. So we're excited about the next opportunity, obviously when we get back on the road. But there were positives, in the run game. And everyone talks about the run game with the running backs, but those offensive linemen played well. Nick Robinson played really well. He had some very good plays on tape that were above and beyond what he had shown in the past. I'm very proud of what he did. Had some ugly ones too, but anytime you play a talented team, there's going to be some ugly with the good. But across the board, I thought the offensive line did some really good things. And we're going to have to be equally as strong to move the ball against this front. Because this front at NC State, they're extremely fundamentally sound. They play with great square shoulders. They understand how to play with their hands and leverage. For us to have success, we need to get the ball to the second level quickly. and let those running backs do what they do best. It'll be a difficult task, but I know our kids are really focused in on understanding that that's a big part of this game plan.